Awesome. Thank you. Go ahead, Tom.
Thanks, Mace. Hey, Rick, how's it going? Um, like I said to Charles, nonetheless, this has been quite entertaining. Not sure earlier when I joined if you, before I joined, mentioned a little bit about yourself. Mace, probably you did, I'm not sure. But from my understanding, your profession or you're a professional um, in PSYOPs, psychological operations, correct?
No, no, I'm not. No, not me.
Who's Rick Doty?
Rick Doty, that's me, and I was psychological operations is something entirely different than counterintelligence. That's a different world.
So what? Sorry. So what's your specialty, or what did you used to do?
I was a counterintelligence officer in the Air Force Office of Special Investigations, which is part of the United States Air Force.
And has there been people that throw in the term psychological operation? Like that's not the first time by me you heard that, correct?
No, there is a no. Absolutely, you're right. There is a part of the military that deals with psychological operations. Absolutely, yeah. That's I think the Army primarily and the Navy has a branch dealing with psychological operations, and primarily, if you want to really look into it, the Central Intelligence Agency probably has the biggest division that deals with psychological operations.
So just to clarify, are you're familiar with ChatGPT and all these AI servers programs?
Yes.
And you use them? Do you use them?
I don't use them. No.
Okay, so
damn, it feels like you got a little light bulb dangling over your head, Rich.
No,
I don't. I'm no longer in intelligence. Okay, so I don't use them. I work for. I'm an online. I teach advanced math online, and I also work at Gaia. So
I love
what
Gaia.
I do now.
Me too. Yeah.
All right, subscription. Hey, give me and May some good subscriptions, man. I'm tired of paying this yearly subscription in advance. But anyways, Rick, real quick. So ChatGPT, anyways, I funk with it like this because it's fast rather than Google and siphon through. Whether it's true or not, I just use my own discernment. So when I was putting your name through ChatGPT, I can go back and read the response, but you're on ChatGPT, and not too many people, let's say they're not like super famous, are on ChatGPT Alpha. You can throw in Rick if you want, Rick Doughty's name, and read the response because my
I already did that.
Yeah, you did, and it throws in the word Rick, psychological operation, and it was saying that you provide certain people. I'm not like vouching for. I'm just reading what it responded with. It was saying that you provide people with this information, part of a psychological operation. Right, Alpha? Did you get that response?
Give me 1 second because I'm chewing food now. I don't want to be that guy.
You're not Maze, don't worry. No, I'm joking, Maze.
What?
I didn't go there. I didn't go there.
Fired.
It's right, like George Costanza and Seinfeld. It's like chew an apple while you're talking. It makes it more comfortable.
Hey man, if the shoe fits, but I ain't. Listen, you can get me in trouble. To whom you can get me in trouble. So yeah, I'll read the real quick response. So I did just a simple query. Who is Richard Doty? And it came back with Rick Doty, often known as Richard Doty, is a and this, like I said, just so everybody knows, this is just a ChatGPT 4Ocean response. Often known as Richard Doty, is a controversial figure tied to UFO conspiracy theories and disinformation campaigns. A former Air Force Office of Special Investigations AFOSI agent, Doty was involved in counterintelligence and disinformation, especially during the 1980s. He is most infamous for his role in the Paul Bennewitz affair, where he allegedly fed false information to Bennewitz, a New Mexico businessman, convincing him that he had uncovered evidence of UFOs and extraterrestrial activity. This disinformation campaign eventually led to Bennewitz's mental breakdown, and then this is the last part. Doty's continued to be a controversial presence within the UFO community. He has admitted to disseminating disinformation to UFO researchers, and some believe he was part of a broader effort by the U.S. government to obscure classified military projects by promoting UFO folklore. His involvement in various UFO-related documentaries, including Mirage Men, has fueled ongoing debates about his role in shaping the modern UFO conspiracy theories. And then it gives the links and resources for that, which is Exopedia and then out of Wikipedia. And then the last sentence, many UFOologists are skeptical of Doty's claims due to his past work spreading misinformation, and he remains a divisive figure in the field. And that comes from a Gaia resource. So once again, you guys, that's I have not vetted that information. I have not backgrounded. That's just a simple response from a prompt on ChatGPT.
Damn, it came from Gaia? That's interesting.
And we have two different ChatGPTs. I think you have the paid version, I have the free version, and mine gave more or less the same response.
Did you? I don't know if he wants to respond to that, or I don't know. But...
Well, yeah, you know, a lot of that is made up from not knowing how the government works in counterintelligence. If you've never worked in counterintelligence and you're trying to write something, you're not going to know the intricacies of what we do within the intelligence community. The Paul Bennewitz case, it's been, it's been probably about 90% of everything is written out there by people who have no idea what involved is false information. Paul Bennewitz came to us because he saw things flying around Kirtland Air Force Base. He lived right next to the base perimeter. He's a scientist. He owned Thunder Scientific Laboratories, which had a government contract. Paul came to the chief of security in the base and said, "Hey, took pictures. I got electronic signals from these things flying around your base, and I want to let you know because I'm afraid that they're extraterrestrial." Now, Paul Bennewitz was a member of APRO and later MUFON. In fact, he was a president of APRO for the state of New Mexico. So he was already a believer in UFOs. And so when he came and told us, told the base security people what he saw, that was referred to me because I was a counterintelligence officer. So I went out and talked to Paul. Paul had all these pictures that he had taken and all these other things he had taken. The electronic collection data that he did on a graft, like a dictaphone graft. And so I went back and, I sent a report up to our headquarters. And they tell me, well, you need to investigate this guy, figure out where he's getting all this stuff from. So one of the things that Paul was doing, and one of the things that was occurring on the base at that time, was the very, 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 very early stages of drone experimentation. The Air Force was developing a drone system back then. It was highly classified. And what these drones looked like were just small aerial crafts that had to fly real close to the mothercraft because there were operators inside this mothercraft controlling these drones. And most of the drones were launched from another Air Force plane. And they would fly around in the air close to the mother plane and then fly back into it. That's what Paul was photographing. Well, that's classified, highly classified. I couldn't tell Paul that, hey, Paul, you were taking pictures of a classified drone program. I couldn't do that. So I would say to Paul, what do you think? What do you think these things are? He said, well, I know they're UFOs, they're alien crafts. Well, that's all I had to do. I mean, I didn't have to convince him any other way. Paul was already a believer. And so that's the start of that operation. Now, it involved a lot of other different things. including he was gathering a particular frequency that was used by this highly classified laser program that we had on the base. The laser program, which is not classified anymore, we would shoot a laser up as a Soviet satellite. This is in the 80s, remember. As a Soviet satellite was passing over Kirtland Air Force Base, we'd shoot a laser up, hitting the lens of that Soviet satellite, blinding it so it couldn't take pictures of the base. Now, that was a very highly classified program back in those days. And it wasn't just Kirtland that had these things. There were other bases that had them. So when Paul came to me and said, hey, I found this frequency that's not on any frequency chart. And so I didn't know what it was. But when I sent all of my reports up to headquarters, they said, oh, my God, that's a classified frequency and so forth. And NSA was involved in it. And that's why NSA became involved in the Paul Bennewitz case, because of what Paul was doing there. Every single thing I did during the investigation, which lasted about 5 years, was sanctioned by the government. They told me what to do. You can't, people that are outside the government don't understand how the government works, especially intelligence. You can't, I couldn't go out there and talk to him without an operational plan. And that operational plan had to be approved by headquarters, DIA. So DIA set down everything that I was supposed to do. Now, I did have some leeway, myself and others. There were 6 other agents involved in this, not just me. And we could change some things because we're at the local level. If they wanted us to do a certain thing, we'd say, that's not going to be possible. We can't do that. Okay, figure out how to do it down at your level. But that's the way it operated. And I maintained friendship with Paul Bennewitz right up until 3 days before he died. He didn't die from what we did. He died because he smoked 5 packs of cigarettes a day. He never ate healthy, never exercised, had all sorts of heart, liver, and thyroid problems. He created problems among himself. And there were other people involved in this. Alan Hynek gave him a computer because he was convincing, Alan Hynek was trying to convince Paul that everything he was doing was real. I mean, he was gay, he was talking to the aliens. That's what Alan Hynek told him. And then Leo Sprinkle, the same way. Leo Sprinkle was involved in this too. And Leo Sprinkle was feeding Paul information that we didn't want him to. In fact, at one point, the FBI, who was just also involved in this, and myself went out, and all sides of federal agency too, and we threatened Alan Hynek and Leo Sprinkle. Listen, if you interfere with our investigation, which is a classified investigation, we're going to file federal charges. And they backed off and they left. So the real story about Paul's been told many times at UFO conventions. People hear a little bit and read all this junk that you're reading on this chat thing. Now, I just pull that up. It tells you it's only about 20 to 25% accurate. It's not 100%. Not supposed to form any lasting opinions of it, because most of this stuff is just rumors that they pick up on the internet from people that don't know what they're talking about. So, I always tell people, if you want to know the facts, come to me and I'll tell you the facts. And I'm not the only one spoke about it. My boss, Colonel Loss, spoke at 2012 UFO convention and set the story straight, so to speak. And that, that's 12 years ago. But anyways, that's the story about Paul Bennewitz.